I know that you sisters know this, but let me say it anyway. When a woman is going to give birth, she has something that's called contractions. Everybody say contractions. Everybody say contractions. If your mom is here, say thank you, Mom. And these contractions are signs. They're signs that the baby's coming, and they're signs that the baby is coming soon. Okay? They're signs that the baby is coming soon. When we talk about signs of its coming, there's two types of signs that I want you to write down. And the first one is primary signs. Primary signs. In a few minutes, I'm going to talk to you about some primary signs. And then the second one is secondary signs. And they're usually doctrinally and theologically and biblically divided up into two different groups. And the primary signs are ones that the Bible specifically and explicitly talk about. Okay? So the first category are a little bit more explicit, and the second category are a little bit more implicit. So they're explained, but then in the second category, it's a little bit more where they are implied. For instance, a primary sign will be the revelation and manifestation of the Antichrist. Okay? He's going to come. He's going to establish his kingdom. He's going to cause a desolation and abomination there in Jerusalem. And he's going to present himself, from what we understand, the first three and a half years he's going to just woo the nations, and then the last 3.5 years people will realize that they have been deceived, they've been duped. But in order for that to take place, see, no one can come right now and just say, I'm the Antichrist, follow me. Why? Because first of all, here in the United States, we have a president, okay? And we have a military, and we have a government, and we have an economic system. But you take an economic system like the United States, where we have been one of the strongest financially strong nations in all the world, okay? But now we see that before, for the President of the United States, he was highly revered. Okay? He was highly revered. Now, people make fun of our president. People made a lot of fun of George W. Bush. Okay? People today make fun of our President Barack Obama. Romans chapter 13 tells us that we are to support those in government. And whether you voted for him or not, whether you agree with his stance or not, he is our current president. We need to pray for him. We need to support him. That's your obligation. You have a spiritual obligation before you have a social, political, or academic obligation. So regardless of what you're being taught, young people in school, we support our leaders. And if we want to make a difference, we pray. Is there anybody with me? And so, but you have our system, and now I was preaching over there that I get a letter from my government that says, by the time you're, I forgot what age it is, we might not be able to offer you Social Security anymore. So my government's telling me, okay? And then you have one of the strongest financial nations that is in a mess. We owe billions of dollars to China, and so on and so forth. And then you take the strongest state, financial state in the Union, California. And what's happening here? Going downhill. Okay? You take the strongest financial city in the strongest financial state in the strongest financial country in the world. Los Angeles is supposed to have the most money in the world. We have a budget that far exceeds many nations. And what's happening today? Teachers and anybody in the school system, custodians, are being told, we might have to let you go. We're going to have to let go of, I don't know, 1,500 people. Okay? And then not only in the LA Unified School District, but you have the LA workers, city workers, and it went from 1,500 to something like 3,000 or 4,000 that are going to be let go of jobs. Okay? Now listen, if that's happening here, you Imagine what's happening all over the world. Okay? That is a secondary sign. Because what it's doing is it's setting the scene. It's setting the ambiance, the environment, for one world leader to come and pitch to all the nations, I have a plan. I can get us out of this mess. Follow me. We see all of Europe, except England, has followed the euro. The euro is stronger than the dollar right now. And these are all secondary signs. Are you with me? Amen. These are secondary signs. The primary sign is, well, some might say, well, I don't see no Antichrist. I might have time. Brother, sister, everything is being set up. Okay? Everything is being set up. Are you with me this morning? Another example. Sign of the beast. 666. Okay? Has it happened yet? It's happening. But how many of you know that Satan could not just implement the sign of the beast unless there's already a system in place, such as computers, chips that are already being installed in animals, that are already being installed in senior citizens in other countries, and soon it's going to happen here. These are all secondary signs of the primary signs. Are you with me this morning? So as we talk about some of the primary signs, now, when we talk about primary signs, we're talking about actual signs that Jesus or Paul or some of the other writers in the Old Testament wrote about, and these are explicit. This is what's going to happen, and you know the end is coming, or the end is near, or the end is here. Number one, we talk about Israel. May 7th, 1948. In May 1948, the nation of Israel declared its independence. Now, Jesus said that one generation will not pass until these things have been fulfilled and I return. When I was growing up, people said Jesus is going to come in 1988 because 40 years is a generation. And so Jesus has to come before 1988, is what they said. Well, we shouldn't say things like that. Because when he didn't come in 1988, I saw a lot of people fall. Okay? And then some say, no, he's going to come 50, 60 years later, so he's coming 98, he's coming 2008. 60 years is a generation. And some people say, 100 years is a generation. Okay, so he's going to come in 2048. Okay? Whatever the situation is, you got to be ready. We don't know the time. Only the Father has a time set. But one key prophecy that has already been fulfilled is that the nation of Israel would come together again, and God would cause them to be a country again. Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 24, "For I will take you out of the nations. I will gather you from all the countries and bring you back into your own land." Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 11 through 14. And as we read this, can you put that pick up, please, brother? "Then he said to me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. They say, our bones are dried up, and our hope is gone. We are cut off." Let me tell you something. If the Lord can take these bones, these men and these women, and from them form a nation, God can do the same in your life. Amen. You might say, our bones are dry, our hope is gone, we are cut off. But the same God that took these people and made them a nation is the same God that can restore you, can restore your family, can restore your health, can restore your finances. Are you with me this morning?